Y'all already know what it is. Your boy Yaakov, what it do? The outlet to reality, the holdest podcast in Vegas and Chicago. What up? This is the place where you want to hide from your drama or maybe hide from your baby mama. Just kidding. Y si tú quieres cambiar tu vida, if you want to change your life, then subscribe. Ching. And by the way, guys, I just published my first book called Shabbat in Chicago. It's about an audacious single mom who opens her heart and home to five adopted kids while embracing her Latino culture while being Jewish. And today we have a very special guest. He is the first Latino Jew. Not only that, he is a rabbi and one of the top. Give it up for the one and only Rabbi Fisher. Hey! So, for those who don't know, I want to share a little memory I have with, Rabbi right here. So, I went to Rabbi Wine's son's engagement party, and it was a lot of people I saw at the Masifta, a lot of good friends. And then I find out I see this rabbi, right? He had his hat, his black hat, and I was like, he looked like a brother. And we start talking, you know what I'm saying? And he shared that his mom was Jewish and Mexican, and that blew me away. I was like, wow, I found my brother. I found my brother. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know where. And I was like, man, we're not alone. We're not alone. And I was so happy to finally meet you, talk to you. And we were like, yeah, we'll get together, do this podcast. And now we're here. So that was my first impression, Rabbi. Well, what about you? What can you remember that night?
I remember also, yeah, see a lot of people there. There's a lot of people. I remember seeing you, and I've seen you around. Like I've seen you around the community, different places. I've seen you around, the Kollel, sometimes in Henderson, ATC in Henderson, and I've seen you around. And I'm like, I always like kind of wanted to go over and introduce myself and kind of, start that connection, but I don't know. I guess I never really materialized, And then that night, and I saw you, and I was just feeling it, and we finally connected, and it was awesome. It was incredible, to see someone, like someone who's Jewish, Latino, and it was fascinating to see, like someone coming from similar roots where I've seen, my family comes from, my mom's side at least, where they're coming from, and it was so incredible to see, I was excited to hear hear your story, hear how you got here, I was, I was really excited. It was really awesome.
Oh man, thank you, Rabbi. That was nice. That was nice. I gotta say, so tonight's about you, and I want you to share, please, if you can, like a little bit about your background, if you were born and raised in Vegas, and like what are your hobbies, and yeah, please, so we can get to know you on a deeper level.
Sure. Yeah, I would love to. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. It's awesome. Such an honor. So I grew up in Brooklyn, in Flatbush, New York. And it's a little bit of it's funny, I'm out here in Vegas, and I definitely had my fair share, my tour of the US and a little bit of Canada in my travels, my studies. I grew up in Flatbush. My dad is as American as it gets. His grandparents, great grandparents came well before the war. But my mom, she grew up in Mexico, and she came to the States around at 18, and she was she did not grow up religious. She kind of grew up traditional, and she was about Tshuva. She came back and she found her way, and she found through seminary, and she met my dad, and I grew up in Brooklyn. My dad is a rabbi. He's not a practicing rabbi, but he did his time, like he learned, and he got smicha, and he's a rabbi. But for me personally, growing up, I felt in a very predominantly Jewish neighborhood. I always felt it was almost as if like religion was thrown upon me, and I grew up with religion, and I practiced the religion, but I wanted to feel it. I wanted to feel my religion. I really wanted to like understand why am I doing what I'm doing? What am I doing? And that prompted me, to to go and seek elsewhere. I went through three different high schools, and I ended up in Vancouver as my last stop, Vancouver, BC, in Canada, and that there I found some incredible rabbis, Rabbi Abramchik, Rabbi Kamen, who are the rabbis of Masifta over here today, and they really they helped me, with my journey. They helped me really discover, the true beauty of Judaism, the true beauty of what it means to be a Jew and how to serve God and what the purpose of this world is and why are we here? What are we doing here? And that was incredible. It's funny seeing you. Like it really it triggered me back to like my family. Like I still got family in Mexico. I got they live in Mexico City. I go when I was a kid. I used to go all the time, and for different weddings or bar mitzvahs. And they were it's interesting. Like my family there, they weren't the Ashkenazi community in Mexico, so they're not. It's not. They're traditional. They're more than traditional. They're Orthodox, but they're not. They're looking for more. They're always looking for more, and in a certain sense, that spoke to me, and I kind of like I wanted to see like could I that fueled me seeing them seeing my family there and seeing their struggles with to try to get closer to God and try to really appreciate it, and always like they're always on the build, always trying to get more Judaism out there. And it's a beautiful thing, to have a mixed have some Latino blood. I remember in elementary school, it's my mom always spoke to me in Spanish, and for me personally, just at first I was a little like embarrassed. I don't know why. It was just a little bit like embarrassing. Everyone in the school is speaking English, and here my mom comes in, and she's yelling at me in Spanish or just talking to me in Spanish, and I'm feeling uncomfortable. I don't know, Yaakov. You've ever felt that way?
Yeah, yeah, because it's like, man, you stand out. You stand out for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm standing out. My mom's coming at me, in Spanish, and I got friends over, and she's, sometimes it was nice because I could talk about, if my mom like, hey, what's up with that dude, but like in Spanish, she'll talk to me in Spanish, but at the same time, like it was, I definitely stood out, and I don't know if this is where I get it, but I definitely have a personality that's a little bit more than the usual typical, I guess I don't want to say typical rabbi because in Las Vegas we have some awesome rabbis who have incredible personalities. So it's not so atypical. But I can tell you where I grew up, it wasn't so typical to have such a big personality, and I got a little bit more spice in me. Maybe it's my Mexican side, so that just jumps out me, and I just I didn't fit into that. It's funny, I never fit into that box in Brooklyn in Flatbush. I never fit into that box, and maybe maybe I'm thinking now, maybe it's that's what it is. I got it was it's awesome. I'm at a certain point. I don't remember when it was, but at a certain point, I remember being proud of it. It's like I'm proud of my yeah. My mother's from Mexico. That's awesome. It's cool. Like it was a very cool thing, and a very definitely you know growing up fueled me a little bit. I was always, I guess, so to speak, a little bit different in a certain sense, but to take that difference and it really yeah, it really met really take that difference and kind of I got a little bit of that in me, that defiance, like a little bit like if you tell me not to do something, like kind of like you got that, I'm gonna have to do it now, like the anti-establishment, so to speak, and so I felt that I got a lot of times in my life I had I had things weren't necessarily I wasn't looking to be a rabbi always. I wasn't looking to go down that route. I was taking it day by day, and I find myself here. I find myself with surrounded by incredible people, incredible community, incredible rabbis. With my rabbis, Rabbi Abramchik, Rabbi Kamen, and everyone, all the rabbis in the Masifta and all the rabbis in Las Vegas are awesome people. They're really, really awesome, and it's incredible for me. It's almost like a dream come true that I'm able to actually, uphold and really, be a source of, a source of pride, for my family. And it's nice, going back, like my Mexican family. We've been back. I've actually been back a few times. Like recently, I've been back. I think a few years ago, and it was like so. It was so nice to see, go back and I could share, my my thoughts and stuff like that, and it was really awesome.
Wow. Rabbi, I gotta
Yeah,
say this. So this is really, fascinating how we have so much in common. You being Latino. So I'm gonna be honest with you. This podcast, the main thing I started this was because I wanted to give a voice for basically black and brown uh Jews that don't have a voice in the media. Anytime you see television, movies, they always show the Ashkenaz, right? They show the Holocaust, right? But they never show us. Like we don't exist almost. So I try to
right.
bring this platform to break that stigma, to show that Jewish is not only a religion but an identity, that we're pretty much like a multi ethnic group. Like we have a mix
Yeah,
of everything. You could be Moroccan, you can be from Iran, you can be, Mexico. And the best part, Rabbi, just to have you as a rabbi and Latino, this is huge for me. Like you don't understand. It's just it takes it to another level because we can speak to people that I feel like the problem with our community, especially the Latino in America that are Jewish, they're afraid to express themselves to the world that it's okay, you're Jewish. I think what we're doing right now, we're showing that it's okay. You don't have to be scared. You could be
yeah,
yourself.
100%. Yeah, 100%. That's beautiful. That's so awesome. That's incredible. Yeah, I like that sometimes. When if I'm by the DMV or whatever it is, or if I'm by someplace like that, and like they see me, I'm clearly Jewish. Wearing a hat or a tie or a jacket. It's clearly I'm Jewish, and and uh and they'll ask one of the questions, like, you're Hispanic, and like, yeah, I'm Hispanic. And like the wow factor is like
Yes.
it's perfect.
Right.
They just, yeah,
No, it's true. And you know what's crazy? If we have to go back to the ancient times, right? One of the biggest rabbis that I look up to, right, as like kind of like for me, he's like our forefather for Latinos is Rambam. He's the first one that pops up.
right, yeah, 100%. Yeah, people forget. We were all over. We were literally, as Jewish people, we were in every country. We got exiled to every country. We literally, we've been all over. It's been a long, long, hard exile, and we've been all over. So to think that Jews, for to think for a second that Jews are just the white typical American Jews, that's just the last 50 years. Like, come on, we were we were in European countries, and before that, and half the Jewish world was in between Spain, Morocco, all the all the Sephardic countries. Like that is exactly where Sfarad, Spain.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it is. So for anyone to think that, like, hey, to be embarrassed, no, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. We're Jewish, and we're Mexican, we're Latino, we're Hispanic, wherever you're coming from. That's awesome. Be proud of it. Be
Right.
proud of it, and use it to serve God, and use it. Use your multiculturalness. Use that difference, and use that incredibleness. You got to use all the tools in your toolbox. Like that. That's what it is. That's what God wants from us. Just to be able to take ourselves, and to. He gave us our tools. He gave us every aspect of us, and just to think that one aspect is something to be ashamed of, God forbid. That's something He gave us, each of us, a something special. You know, you mentioned you wanted a thought from the parsha, and actually, it's crazy you're bringing this up because I happened to look. It was the first part when the beginning of the parsha. Uh, the pasuk says, um, "Ki ani Hashem." I'm blanking on the words now, but the pasuk says that you are holy because I am holy, and ani Hashem, I am holy, and the Medrash, which is the Tanaic, commentary on the pasuk, says that you might think that that a human being could be as holy as me, as God, but the pasuk tells me that no, only God is the highest level of holiness, but a human being cannot be that level. If you think about it, stop and reflect. Why did the verse need to tell us that? Why did the verse need to teach us that we're not on that level as a human being to reach the level of God? Of course, we're not on the level to reach the level of God. Why would we ever think that? I think we see a beautiful lesson is that we all have such incredible capabilities packed within us as human beings. And as God's chosen people, as the Jews, we're especially we're packed with incredible capabilities that we could become as special, as holy as God. Not to the same level, but a slightly less level. There's a medrash that says that when Adam Arishon, Adam, and he was in Gan Eden, he was in the Garden of Eden originally when he was created. So the angels thought that he was God. They were confused for a second because his incredible abilities, his possibilities, his abilities to attain holiness, packed within each and every one of us, is a very special capability that transcends anything, any labeling of where we come from. But where we come from is part of who we are, and that's how we use that to serve God. That's part of our holiness. I
Right.
thought it was a beautiful point, and it's just a funny thing. I opened it up, and I'm like, "Wow, that's insane! That's insane!" And you just you just struck right that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow. That's nice, Rabbi. I never heard that. That's a really nice midrash. I was gonna say, it reminded me, there's a part, I forgot where, but a rabbi, I learned this from a rabbi. He said that you put two pieces of papers in your pocket. You probably know this part. One of the parts in the pockets you put, but I'm only created by dust and ashes. That's in one pocket. So when you're trying to, if your ego's too high, it's to help you to be humble. And then the other paper says something like, Hashem made the world for me. And that's to bring you up when you're down. That's to remind you you were made for a reason. Like, God made you, Hashem made you perfect, and use these abilities to bring light to the world. So I really like that concept. It reminded me what you were saying, with
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah.
right?
That's incredible. Yeah, 100%. That's incredible. Yeah, we got to remember that. We got to remember that, and that's it. That's it. And there's a lot of disillusions out there. With how the color of our skin or where we're coming from is like that. That's defining. That's not definitive. That's not doesn't. It's definitive because it's part of us. It's part of who we are, and we have to use that to
Right.
fuel it. Take those positive aspects. You know, take those positive aspects. That's awesome. That's an awesome reason to create this podcast. That's incredible.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend. I'm so happy. I'm so happy you're here. Look, it's amazing. And please, if you could share one more story, right? So we can wrap this up. If
Sure.
what's your one of your best memories you have with your mom, like growing up, that you can think of, or something that she taught you that has always stick to you, like now that you're growing up, you're like, man, my mom was right. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying,
Oh,
brother? You know what I'm
those are the
saying?
worst.
Right? Yeah.
Those are the worst, right? Those are the worst. When you look back, you're like, oh man, my mom was right all the time. But that's awesome. Yeah, I can tell you, my mom always she always was pretty incredible because my mom always believed in me, and she always told me, she said you could achieve anything you want, anything you put your mind to, you could achieve, and always pumped me up in that sense. Always pumped me up, like really, really, always pumped me up at telling me anything, like anything that I pushed for and I could achieve. And she, she never pushed me to become a rabbi. Nothing. She never pushed me. She never said, she never said, I want you to become a rabbi. I don't want you, she's like, listen, whatever you do, whatever path you choose, that's awesome. I just want you to be, she used to say in Yiddish, I want to be an Erlich Yid. She used to say, I want you to be an honest Jew. That's it. An honest Jew. That's all. And she still, to this day, she still tells me the same thing. I never wanted to become a rabbi. But I
Wow.
mean, she's overwhelmed by that. I just want you to become an honest Jew. But she always pumped me up, give me that self-esteem, that boost to say, whatever it is, I support you. But at the same time, like, realize that, you don't have to, you don't have to always push me to shoot for the stars. Obviously, always push me to shoot for the stars, but really, really always supported me and always told me that I just, yeah, if
Wow.
you become a rabbi, that's great, but you don't have to, you know. That's it's funny because it was never in to me personally. I guess I share one more thing. To me personally, I mentioned this before. I never really, I took it day by day. I really took it day by day. I really took it, my throughout my years of studying. I really took it really pretty. Took it pretty slow. I said, if it works, it works. Let's see this through. And I'm so happy about that. I'm so happy about that fact that I was able to, really achieve something. It's something it's really important to me, and it's an incredible opportunity. I really love
Wow.
that.
That's amazing, Rabbi. I'm so happy, man. Like it's incredible how your mom basically she gave you great advice and never forced you, right, to be something that you didn't want to be, right? You
Right.
chose, I'm gonna be a rabbi, and she was always there rooting for you, whatever you chose. I think sometimes if you force kids to do something, it almost like they didn't get to really choose their path, you know?
Right. 100%. Yeah. It's funny you say that. I see that. I see that in the classroom a little bit. I've been teaching 11th graders, so we're doing Gemara, and I'm trying to. The beginning is my first year teaching. My first year really teaching a main class. In the past I taught like smaller classes, but this is a 3 hour class. A break in the middle, but but no one's gonna sit for 3 hours. um, so in the beginning, I was kind of like a little bit. I want to speak. I want to hear what you have to say. Also, I want to debate it with you, but we gotta do things, like in a certain way. And then I realized that you can't. I took my mom's advice. Like you can't you can't force people. You can't force someone. They have their way, and how obviously it has to be within a structure, but at the same time, they've got their way to do. They've got a way too. They got an opinion also, and let's help them use their abilities to get to that step, to get those steps they need to get to. And to be honest, since I started doing that, it's been incredible. But it's just that switch the mindset. You're 100% right. Yeah, I should have spoken to you
Right?
earlier.
No, that's good. That's good, Rabbi. I think it's nice that Gemara is one thing that I have to bring this up. It's one of the most toughest for me to study. It's just a lot of things going on. There's a lot of one rabbi said this, the other rabbi said, nah, I think it's this, the Mishnah says this. There's a lot of back and forth. But honestly, the Gemara has so much stuff that applies today. One of my favorite stories, I have to share this real quick, Rabbi. There's a part where I can't get the you probably know the which one. It's a part where before the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, the second one, and this rabbi needed to leave the town, right? and the rebels didn't let no one enter or leave Jerusalem, right? Jerusalem. So he said to his disciples, his students, pretend that I'm dead. So they put him in the casket, and the Gemara says that apparently that a dead person is heavier than a person that is alive. So they carry him, right? And they're trying to pass the rebels. And they're like, yeah, we got to get through. They're like, no, no, nobody can get through. He goes, well, we have to give our respect to a rabbi. He wants to be buried there. And a miracle happened. They were able to get through, you remember? And
Yeah.
it was so cool that the rabbi meets this guy who's like a general, right? For the
Okay.
Romans. And he tells him three things, right? And they actually become true. They actually become true. You will become the new ruler, the new king. And it was like two more other things. I can't get it, Rabbi. I think you know the last two, if you remember. Or yes, yes.
I'm blanking on on those things, but yeah, but yeah, he I think maybe he said he'll win the war. He'll conquer Jerusalem, I think, and then I don't remember what the last one was.
Right, right. Yeah,
Okay.
I forgot too. I forgot too. So the thing is, one of the biggest debates of all time, people say, is why didn't the rabbi say to save, you know,
Right. Oh, see, he
the
asked right. He asked for three things.
yeah,
He asked for the right. He basically asked for three gifts, three and they said one was that he wanted to establish the rabbis in a different city. Number two was he wanted to treat. There was an elderly rabbi who was fasting a really long time. Wanted to treat him, and the third one, I don't remember what the third one was, but okay, I don't remember what the third one was. Yeah, but the question, yeah, they asked. Sorry,
right. And a lot of people say he should have told that general, you should save, the Jewish people. That would have saved us from the
right,
destruction, right?
right,
And it's so cool, like little stuff like that. It sticks to my brain. One last thing. The next page talks about uh one of the generals, or it's Roman soldier. He throws an arrow. He's basically testing Hashem if he should destroy the Beis Hamikdash. He shoots it to the east, west, south, and he throws all four arrows. They land in Yerushalayim, in the same place,
right,
which is crazy.
right,
And this yeshiva boy he's next to, he says, "Hey, so what are you studying?" And it talks about revenge. Those who are against Hashem will be punished. And he's like, man, I think that's a sign. And at that moment, he converted. He became
right,
Jewish.
right. Yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful story. Yeah, yeah. That's incredible. There's always hope. There's always hope. We always got it. God's on our side, and I think that's a beautiful, that's a beautiful aspect. Though we suffer sometimes, and it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to understand the ways of God. But I think we got to remember that He's really got our back.
Yeah,
God always has our back, and that's it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you so much, Yaakov. I really appreciate it.
Of course, of course, guys. There you have it. This is the outlet to reality. The holdest podcast in Vegas and Chicago every Tuesday. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Ching ching. Y'all know where to find me. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. The outlet to reality. My Snapchat, take one, pass it, and my TikTok is at Yaakov 28. And Rabbi, if any of my fans have any questions about Torah, or anything, where can they find you, or can they message you? You know what I'm saying?
Sure, absolutely, yes. I mean, I don't have any social media, but I do have a. Shoot me an email. It's Rabbi Fisher, Rabbi Fisher Fisher at Mesivta Mesivta LV as in Las Vegas .org. You could shoot me an email and I'll respond quickly, I'll try my best.